I went from not knowing anything about sitcom to, okay, now you're leading one.
Because I don't want to blacklist you from...
Yeah. and I never did a Little Caesars commercial after that. Ewan McGregor's like, one thing's for sure, the negotiations were short. Anakin, I can't believe you've done this. Like that kind
like,
not
to
right
to develop
like,
that your character.
If
like,
anything, right? Like, I'm sorry, but like, you also think we're gonna make the cut like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, would Natalie Portman remember me? No, absolutely not. But I absolutely remember that because
I remember her.
Well, because.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Jordan Whitrock Show. I'm your host, Jordan Whitrock, and today we have a very special guest. It's someone that I got to meet this last quarter. We both were in West Side Story together. Although he was very busy and we didn't get to share a lot of rehearsal time together, the performance was awesome, and it was a great opportunity to work with him because I got to see a lot of his awesome work that we'll definitely talk about in this episode throughout this past year. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show, Drake Aasen.
Woo! That was a really kind introduction.
Bro, thanks for coming on the show.
Dude, thank you for having me. This is great.
We've been trying to do this for like, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks, like 7 weeks, something like that. Because, I don't know, it had been one of the West Side rehearsals or whatever. We got talking, and then I think I like just kind of threw it out there like, hey, if you ever want to come on, you're like, okay, let me look at my schedule. And then you just got hella busy.
I was like, let me look at my schedule. And then I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, that all exists. Yeah, it didn't. This is a much busier quarter than I anticipated just because I'm like, I should have been done. Like, on paper, I graduated on like winter quarter. So like March 12th. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with school. But then everything, like, I kept joking. I was like, they keep bringing me out of retirement. Like, they keep wanting me to, like, do stuff. I'm like, I'm done. Let me be done. Let me rest.
No, okay. So I'm fascinated with, we were talking before the show, just like your ability to be multimedia faceted, whatever. I probably mixed up the order of those words, how you would say it normally.
I know
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you.
But being able to work not only in stage or musical play, straight play and whatnot, but also to have the ability to be on film sets and TV sets. And so as I ask you about how was your coming up, what made you want to be an actor and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure we'll come into that as well. But when you were younger, was there a moment that you were like, yeah, this is what I want to do?
Yes, like definitively.
Really? Okay, this is awesome. Let's go.
So my dad grew up, was a huge Star Wars fan. Oh. And so when I was like very, very young, or like 2-3 years old, he introduced me to Star Wars. And so like I got hooked on it right away. And then when I got a little bit older, like 4-ish, he introduced me to Indiana Jones. And I also was similarly hooked on that. Mm-hmm. But I was like, why is Han Solo in this one too? And he's like, no, like that's Harrison Ford, like he's an actor. And I'm like you can, that's a job, like you can get paid to like do that and like play pretend or whatever. And so that was the moment I'm like, I gotta do that, like I gotta be an actor. But I grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, so there's not like a clear avenue to like the wider world of entertainment. So the most accessible experience that I could get is to do theater. And so it was actually my mom signed me up for classes and auditions and like that kind of thing. And I sort of did it absentmindedly until I was like 9 or something like that. And then I started like actually,
Was it just something like that was like your mom signed you up because you were interested, but it maybe wasn't your focus? Like, was there something else pulling you, or was it just like, I didn't know what I was doing or what the purpose was? Yeah,
I mean, it was like I knew that I wanted to do like Hollywood, like film, TV, like the movies, whatever. But there wasn't a way to do that. So it was like the closest that I could reasonably get at the time was to do musical theater, which doesn't sound very close at all in like hindsight, but like that was the only path that I could do where I was. And it worked out really well because I feel like, I don't know, so many actors are like, I got my start in the theater, I was like classically trained or like whatever. It's like, I really do subscribe to that. Like, I feel like you should, like, if you're film and television, you should get your start in the theater. You should, if you didn't start in the theater, at least like know it and understand it and like know how to perform for an audience, because that's effectively what you're doing. There's just a camera there instead of like the people.
Did you grow? I know we talked about like you said you were born in Minnesota. Were you Midwest your whole life, or did you eventually get to a city that you were like, okay, yeah, this is where the magic happens?
I was Midwest my whole life.
Okay.
Like born in Minneapolis, and then lived there for a few years, and then moved to Fargo, North Dakota.
Yep.
Where I like spent most of my life. And I mean, my parents were really awesome about like taking my sister and I out on trips. Like when we were kids, we like went to different countries and we went to different states, and like we traveled around a lot, which was awesome for like perspective and different cultures and stuff. But there was never really a place that I was like, this is the place to be. It wasn't until I was in high school that I started considering like, okay, you know, when we're going on trips, like, could I reasonably live here? Could I enjoy living here? And I remember I went to New York for the first time when I was in high school. I was like a sophomore or something like that. Yeah. And I hated it. And I was like, we had an Airbnb in Brooklyn, which I believe is actually illegal. Like Airbnbs in the city. That's what I heard. Anyway.
Okay.
But
allegedly. No.
Allegedly, yeah. Anyway, we had a place in Brooklyn that we were staying, and we would like go into the city to like do stuff. But we, of course, like first time in New York, like you have to do all of the touristy stuff. So we had to Statue of Liberty, the One World Trade Center, Times Square, like all of that stuff, and we did it. But like I was like, this sucks. Like there's just so many people. It's dirty. It's congested. Whatever. I was like, I can't live here, and so I like wrote it off. Right. I never thought about it again until like when I was a senior in high school. I was like, well, I might have to like buck up and do it. You know. But I still hadn't been back.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't until like being in college that I like made trips back there. And I like saw stuff outside of Midtown. I saw stuff outside of the touristy stuff. Yep. And I'm like, oh, like there's a real city here. It's not just, you know, the Empire State Building.
I mean, I feel like that's like a common thing or something that like people do have to consider, because I did that trip with, did the school trip, did the tourists, got to see shows, and I was like, okay, it just seems like you said, like a lot of people, a lot going on. Do I really want that? You know, I'm used to cornfields. And then my buddy and I were like, One we were just like, nah, screw it. We're going to go to New York for some reason, like that summer. And it was just cool because we did a little bit of that tourist, but like we got to kind of like, we stayed with one of his relatives, which was like in one of the boroughs. And so it was like, you got to be in the city instead of at a hotel in New Jersey or something, traveling in and out of the city. And then just like getting an opportunity to go back to the city like this year, it's like, okay, no, there's so much more to the city. And it kind of just like, it's a way of life and it's different. Yeah. Yeah. But it's something like I think I could do. Like I don't think it would affect me too much, you know.
Well, and like the concept of how New York City works is so foreign to like Midwesterners, I think. It's just like, you know, for us, like the city is the city. You live in it. It's not like, I don't know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But like in New York, it's like the city is the island of Manhattan. Yeah. But then there's the Bronx and Queens and Brooklyn. And it's like, it's all the surrounding boroughs. And because we were staying in Brooklyn, like, it wasn't until going back there, like as an adult, that I'm like, oh, that's like legitimately a commute, you know, like to get into the city, to like be in any of those areas.
What are your thoughts on public transportation? Are you pro or against it?
I am so for it. I think it just needs like, I wish that every city had like a very, like a European style public transit. Cause I was talking to someone about this today, actually. I used to work at a Texas Roadhouse in Fargo, and that was whatever. That was neither here nor there. But like, there was someone there that I remember, like, had to rely on the public transportation in Fargo, North Dakota, to get to work, and like that meant that they would like clock out and have to sit at the restaurant for like 2 hours to wait for a bus. Yeah, you know, and that's if the bus was like running on time that day or like whatever. I'm like, that's awful. Like that should never be, that shouldn't be a thing. If you're like relying on public transit or paying for public transit, you should have reliable public transit.
I don't know. I think for me, I just always grew up with a car or commuting or doing like my own thing or having that freedom. And so I think like going to a big city, you're like, oh yeah, I gotta wait this extra 5 minutes. I can't just do. And then, oh wait, that does take a time. Although when you think about it, it's like the subway's so much faster than trying to take a car from
I mean,
point
it's
A
like,
to point B. So it's like you get that too. But
yeah, it'll be a transition for sure. But I'm committing to it. I'm selling my car,
yeah,
and I similarly like had my car my whole life, or not my whole life, but like since I was
since
15.
the womb, no.
Yeah, womb to tomb. I've had my no, but like I've had my car for years, and it's been my car, and I just like it'll be weird to not have that, but I'm also like in the place in the US that I think makes the most sense to not have a vehicle.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, like you can get anywhere, even if it takes, I was looking at like Brighton Beach, that's like on Coney Island and that kind of thing. I was like, if I want to go to the ocean, like it is an hour and a half on the train.
Yeah.
But I'm not driving the train, so I can kind of just do what I want and like zone out, fall asleep, whatever. It's like,
I don't know. I think I've never taken like an actual train ride from like station to another state or like like I've only been on a subway, but I feel like I feel like I've always wanted to do like one of those like cross country where you're like going through mountains and stuff, and it's more of like a tourist train, not an actual train. But I've always been like that would kind of be sick.
Well, like we had an Amtrak stop in Fargo, but it was only one train that happened like every once in a while.
Okay.
And it always came in at like 3 or 4 in the morning. So there was like it was at inconvenient times. It was inconsistent, and because of that, like tickets were absurdly expensive to like get on it at all.
Okay.
So like in theory, you could take the train from Fargo to Seattle, but like it just sucks. It's like you could fly for like $500 cheaper.
That's so crazy. Yeah. Okay. So you're growing up and you're doing theater, that's your first medium. You're in high school now, and is that something that you end up like? Yes, you make that decision. You're like, yep, this is what I want to do. I'm in every show that the school provides. Like,
it was earlier than that actually.
Okay.
It was when did I start taking it seriously? Probably like 5th grade, like elementary school. And it was because I was cast as Charlie Bucket in Willy Wonka.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was like, it would have been one of my first like leads where I'm like, okay, I am leading the show. And like that kind of clicked for me. I was like, oh, like people are relying on me. Actually it was my first lead because we had, how you do like a stage door, like a meet and greet after a show and that kind of thing. Up to that point, I had not led a show. And so there was never really any sort of emphasis or importance on me going out and doing like a meet and greet. And then for one of the shows for Willy Wonka, I was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. And I didn't go out there. It was like everyone else, like the rest of the cast was there. But I was like, yeah, no one came to see me. I don't know anyone out there or whatever. And then the director came back and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I don't know. I didn't know anyone that was coming tonight. He's like, it doesn't matter. You're still, what do you, like, go out there, like talk to people. I was like, oh, okay. So
anyway. But my mom's going to pick me up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Well, I didn't have my car back then. I said I had it my whole life. No, but that was the first show that I, like, after that moment, I was like, okay, like, I want to take this seriously. I want to, like, I like being relied on in that way, like, being able to, like, pull through with the show and that kind of thing. So from there, I did like literally every opportunity that I possibly could within like my community.
Okay.
And then that extended beyond the community too. It brought me to Minneapolis. It brought me to Chicago. Like there was a bunch of like regional stuff that I did. But I never went outside of the Midwest. But then it kind of bit me in the butt because, so I had just done Billy Elliot, the musical.
Okay.
And I was Billy Elliot, which was like massive ego high for me. I was like, I loved that. But I had just gotten off of doing Billy Elliot. And then the very next show that I had to do was Honk Jr.
I've never heard of that.
Right?
Okay.
So cool. Honk is the musical retelling of The Ugly Duckling. and Honk Jr. is that, but for kids.
Yep.
As if it isn't already, like, so it's a truncated, like, child-friendly version of a child-friendly story set to song. But anyway, so I did Billy Elliot the Musical, a very, like, do you know the show?
I think I've only heard people talk about it. Like, I don't know if I know the full
It's
plot.
phenomenal. Like, there was a movie, and then the musical.
Wait, give us a
adapted from
2-line synopsis of it for people that are also listening that are like, I have no
Oh,
idea what the show
okay.
is.
Oh God. Okay. So Billy Elliot was this boy born into a mining town, and it's sort of the expectation that he also become a miner like his family. But there's a big strike going on because Margaret Thatcher is privatizing all of the mining companies in that part of England, and so he wants to be a ballet dancer. But then there's the conflict of they're trying to like strike for their lives and strike for their jobs. So it's a really
Got you.
good, like, deep story, like family tension, and like it's awesome. So then I did that, and then I did The Ugly Duckling, so the reason that I bring that up is because it was I had such an ego going into middle school in general.
Yep.
Like that, just any of the shows that I did in middle school, I was like, I know what I'm doing, guys. Come on. Like, I was like, let's pull it together. We can do our production of Annie Jr. or Honk or what have you. And I didn't realize until later how pompous I was. And he was talking to someone who, a good friend of mine still, his name is Ethan. And he had done theater before. He came from a very theater-driven family. But he had mostly done soccer up to that point, and then he was he was transitioning to doing more theater and that kind of thing. And I was really like, I don't think he holds it against me, but like I was really kind of like a snot to him. I was like, well, why don't you know your cues? Like, why don't you know, like, I was just
you
like,
were one of those people? Damn.
I know. I sucked. And it wasn't until like freshman year of high school that I was like, I think I might have discredited him. Like, in hindsight, I might have discredited him because he didn't do it as young as I did. Even though we were in middle school, even though we were all young, I was like, well, I've been doing it my whole life. And it's like, dude, you're 10. Like, shut up. Like, so it wasn't until high school that I think I had the realization that, like, oh, you don't have to have been doing this forever. You can still do it just as seriously. And that kind of like curbed my arrogance.
Interesting.
I hope.
You know what's like, I feel like I was in the opposite of, I did my first ever show. And it was in middle school. And I was just like orphan number 57 and, you know, Oliver. And like, I think for me, it was like, oh, like everyone here knows so much more than me. So like, I can't, like, there's not even like a chance that I would be like, oh, I could do this better than you, because it's just like, no, I have no idea what's going on here. Like, I'm playing basketball, baseball, you know, I'm playing all the sports, and I'm only here because my dad's forcing me to, you know, you know, vibes. And so I think that's interesting. Like, I think as, you know, I'm getting older and maybe now there's younger actors, I'm like, it's more of like, hey, I made this mistake just because I had no idea what was going on. Like, see if this helps you kind of vibe, which I think, like, in the field can be looked at as like an arrogance or like, I know better than you. And I'm like, no, it's just I'm trying to help you.
Yeah,
You know,
no, totally. I think when I was doing Billy Elliot, all of the, like, there's like a dance girls ensemble. Like, there's a ballet class that Billy gets in, and all of the girls are like, in my production, they were all like younger than me, like younger than me. And for that, it was sort of like, I don't know, for some reason it made sense in my head that I was like, okay, I'm older than these people. Like, I can sort of be like a guide and like help them out and stuff. But then that disconnect happened because I was the same age as the people in my middle school. Yeah. And so then I was like, well, why aren't you guys getting it? Like, we're all adults as we're 12. Like, you know, it's just, so it's a time in my like performing history that I look back on and I'm like, I don't think I was inherently mean, but I wasn't understanding. Yeah. You know?
No.
And I wish I could have been more.
I mean, I feel like everyone's going to have a point in whatever their career path is, that has something like that. But so you're doing that and finding success, and that takes you through high school. Was there any other shows or any moments in high school that you're like, wow, like this really kicks me into gear of like, I'm looking for this type of school to get educated, or, or.
I actually took a hiatus for a while, because there was a director that I worked with for a number of years who was really not good for anyone involved or like adjacent to them.
Yeah.
And it literally drove me to the point where I'm like, I have to stop performing entirely for a while. And that happened my sophomore year. And so then following my sophomore year, there was it was probably like 9 months or something like that, but it felt like forever, where I wasn't performing. Yeah. I had done a few productions through North Dakota State University. So I did like one production through the university in that time. But it wasn't until there's this performing arts school and venue. It's just across, technically it's in Minnesota, but it's just across the river of Fargo. Okay. Because the states border each other. Yeah, anyway, yep. But it's called Trollwood, and it's this 2,000 seat outdoor amphitheater. Oh. And that was like the one thing that I had never done in like the Fargo Moorhead area. Yep. As far as theater. And so that brought me out of my hiatus. And also like, it was such an emotional thing. I never let it on. Like I never like said it to anyone when I was doing it, but that like bowing on that stage every night was like, oh my God, I'm back. Like I'm like, this is it. This is like, I fed off of it so much. It was so cool. And I don't know. That was my big like kick back into the theater. I'm like, I gotta keep doing this. I did do one short film in 2014. When I was still like a kid. Yeah. And that was the only film. Well, I did a commercial too, but those were the only two things that I had for like film and television, leading into college. Gotcha. So in high school, so after my hiatus, I'd come back, and I was like, okay, like I want to do this professionally. Like, how do I get started? So I was really set on the fact that I wasn't going to go to school. Oh, wow. My plan was to just go straight to New York. But my parents were like, well, humor us, like do college auditions. Mm-hmm. And like, if something lands for you, or you like, you feel even like moderately okay about a place, go for a little bit, try it out. And if you don't like it, then move. Yep. Right. So I looked into college auditions, and I started like putting out the initial things, and then I heard about Unified auditions. Yep. And so I did the Chicago Unifieds because that was closest. Yep. And I got all my stuff prepped. I flew out to Chicago, and I had like a few schools that were on my list. I was really going after UMich. Like I thought I was going to go to UMich. If I was going to go anywhere. Yep. But my whole thing was like, I was very against the idea of a conservatory. Same. Yep. Yeah. Cause I did not want to, this was further reinforced by going to Unifieds, cause I went to Unifieds and there was like kids that had gone to like an art school or like something like that. Oh, and all of they dressed the same. They had the same headshots. They like had the same like style of song in their rep book. I'm like, whoa, like I don't want to program. Yeah, no, it's like I just saw like the same like cookie cutter person, like, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like I want to walk into a room and be like, oh, like, you know, you wouldn't be able to like just put a pin on me and like that's where you went, you know. Yeah. So anyway, I had all these. I did the schools that I auditioned for, and then like the next day or whatever, SCAD reached out to me. And they're like, come to our room and like do a thing. Yep. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I remember I saw the brochures or whatever at the table, and I was like, I don't know. This looks way too artsy.
Well, you know what's interesting? I wonder
like,
if like 3 years made a big difference in like from the time that you.
I'm gonna ask
like,
you about
you
that
know?
because speak on it. What did?
Well, I'm just curious on like obvious like how far along was the back lot, right? Like in that sense, right? Because for us, it was very much in my like callback meetings and whatnot with them. It was like, here's this video, and they're showing like videos of the back lot and all that kind of stuff. Like you just like see like what they're promoting and what they have to offer for you as a student, you know. Yeah. And I'm just curious on how far along the acting program was, because from what I heard that like even in recent years it has leaped so far than it used to be, you know.
Yeah, I didn't really know that there was an acting program, to be totally honest, when I was
wow.
It was weird. It was a weird set of circumstances because they were like, come to the room, do the audition. So they had a room and they were doing auditions. So I'm like, okay, that
and they're not asking me to draw. So
I'm like, so there must be a program.
Yeah.
But like I'm like looking through the brochure and I think they like mentioned acting, and like there was like a picture from like one of the shows or something like that. But it didn't look like anything like, God, for lack of a better term, like show stopping. Like it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like big or like bold or anything. It almost felt like a footnote. And like all of the advertising around the university was really pretty is the only way I can describe it. Like it was very floral, very eclectic. It was cool, but I'm like, okay, this is art. Like this is like art school.
Interesting.
Like it reminded me of I can't remember the name of it, but there's a university in Chicago that literally is like, this is an art school, but they also have like I think it's like a dance program or something like that. Anyway, so I do the audition. It functioned the same as any other the other auditions, and it wasn't until April of that year that I like came to the university because I was going to like tour some of the schools that I was thinking about going to, and I got a private tour by the then vice chair at the time, and took me through and talked to me about, took me through Kreitz and Hamilton and like talked to me about the university and stuff. And the pitch was I was one of the people being brought on to develop the musical theater program and develop the acting program, because there was an acting program. It started in 2015, but it was there, and like there was already some notable people to come out of it. But the musical theater program really had not started. It was not a thing. You could not focus on.
Well, we've had Augustine on the same thing.
And she was also brought on for like the same thing. So like there was a few of us that were brought on, and that did mean that we were in performance ensemble like from day one. Because the idea was performance ensemble was effectively to kickstart the musical theater program, which inevitably it did. Which is super cool. But yeah, no. So I got to the university, and within like, God, I remember within the first like few weeks of that first quarter, I was like, Mom, Dad, like I can't do this. I gotta go somewhere else. I'm leaving. I'm
really
moving. Yeah, because I was like, well, performance ensemble was phenomenal for what it was. But it wasn't, especially at the time, it wasn't anything necessarily developmental to musical theater. It wasn't anything that was gonna like further your career. It was sort of like show choir.
Got you.
So like a completely different vibe. It was still fun, and like the people were awesome. But yeah, it wasn't anything that was like getting you into a room or anything, or like refining your craft or anything. That didn't happen until sophomore year. But freshman year, what changed it for me was the film festival. Because like leading up to that, I was like, I gotta get out of here, please. Like, no, I can't.
Isn't that like week 8? No, what week is Film Fest?
I don't know if they decide on.
I think that's week like
it's just like
4 or 5, something like that. I feel like
Yeah, we also got
tonight.
Mike running our TD. Let's go, Mike. Thanks for coming.
What's up, guys?
I can't remember.
It's always like late October.
It has to be week 7, because I think afterwards it was like 2 weeks left of the quarter.
It's no, it's
Well,
I think
it's like
I think it's
Halloween or
supposed to be
something.
week 7, but this week was week 8 for some reason, and then there was literally like 2 weeks left of the quarter.
Okay.
And I was like, well, anyway, so yeah. So what changed it all for me was Film Fest because now, and also I got very lucky too because I became somewhat close with the vice chair, and so he brought me to the front of all of the master classes,
Nice. Yep.
like as an incoming freshman.
Yep.
So I got treated very kindly.
Everyone hated you.
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, I'm new here. I don't know. It's like, but no, that really like that changed everything for me because I was like, whoa, this university is really well connected.
Yeah, it has connections.
And I'm like, I'm sitting here like 5 feet in front of this person that I known forever, or I've seen, forever.
Yeah.
And then, like that was the kickstart of like, oh my God, like I could seriously like benefit, like from going to this university. And then at the same time as Film Fest, December was shooting in Savannah. And, I had heard that, D.W. Moffat was in the movie. And so I was talking to him, and through him, I got connected to this person, to that person, whatever. Okay. I talked my way onto the set.
Wow. Okay. Yep.
Which was like super. I still have never done anything like that. That was just fun. But excuse me, talked my way onto the set, and I was there only for one night, but there was like I was an extra, but it was me and 4 other people, and then Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore, Charles Melton, Todd Haynes. Like it was 4 extras and the leads of the film. And so because there were so few of us, it was like we just got to like hang out.
That's
like,
crazy.
Now, would Natalie Portman remember me? No, absolutely not. But I absolutely remember that because I
remember her.
Well, because Star Wars,
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm
so
like,
crazy.
I'm on set with Padme, but I'm like, keep it cool. And the other, Julianne Moore is phenomenal. Charles Melton, like all of them are wonderful. But I was just like stoked to be like on set, and it just like I was like, wow, this industry is so tangible. It's so reachable even for like a Midwesterner.
Yeah.
And that did actually come up because it was like really cold that day for Savannah standards. It was like 30 degrees. And I was dressed in, it was supposed to be during the summer. So I was dressed in like shorts and a t-shirt.
Okay.
And I had just still come from North Dakota, like not that long ago. So, the director, Todd Haynes, was like, dude, aren't you freezing right now? And I'm like, no, like I grew up in this. I'm from North Dakota. It's like, what? And like that started a conversation. Okay. So it's like, that has absolutely been to my benefit being from such an obscure place.
Yeah.
But anyway, that whole experience was the switch for SCAD for me.
So that Film Fest was like, wait, hold up, I'm here for a different reason than maybe what I thought. Kind of vibes of just like, oh, I didn't realize that connections was important in this industry, and this school provides those that maybe I just otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to do. Yeah.
I think well, as far as the school providing the connections, I'm a huge believer of it doesn't matter where you go, it's what you put into it.
Yeah.
So like, could I have gotten as well connected at another school? Maybe, but it was just like present in that moment when I needed it to be.
Yep.
And then as far as the like, maybe this is what I want to do kind of thing, it was kind of a shift because I had come to the school being like, I'm going to do musical theater and like, that's all I'm going to do. But then I came here and I was like, oh, maybe that's not as much of an option as I thought at the time. It wasn't. And so I'm like, okay, well, I've never done film and television before. Like, let's do film and television and like give that a shot, see, what that's like. And so that kind of started like immediately following December. We had winter break. And so then after I came back from winter break, I like hit the ground running, and I was like student set, like boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
And that was really fun, and it also really sucked because I didn't know what the commitment to a set like that was yet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, yeah, it's only shooting 3 days.
Yeah.
But the prep work that you have to do ahead of time, you have to know your lines when you get on set. Yep. And then like those aren't just like 3 rehearsal days of like 5-hour or 3-hour rehearsals. Yeah. It's like, no, you're there 12 hours, yep. For 3 days in a row. And like, that was just a foreign concept to me. Mm-hmm. But I did a ton of student sets, and I got a lot of really decent footage for being a freshman and never having done like film before.
Did you do? When was did you do a stage show musical freshman year?
Yeah, we did Pippin.
Okay.
And I understudied Pippin, and then I was in the like featured ensemble.
Okay, got you.
And Pippin was played by Eli Talley, who's
now big dog.
Yeah.
So sophomore year comes around, and you kind of figure out, I think, what you're enjoying about SCAD in that way. Mm-hmm. Does anything change that way, or is there any big commitments or big decisions that you're like, you know what, I'm taking my talent to this,
I think it was I made a decision to prioritize and focus on film and TV.
Gotcha.
Just in a way that I hadn't ever considered before. And so then I became really driven, and I was finding all these opportunities. Like, my goal was to like do as much as I can outside of the university to aid what I was doing at the university and stuff like that. And so, I got signed freshman year with a smaller agency they were really awesome. And they were a wonderful first agency, but it wasn't like I was getting like a ton of work out of them, but they were very, very boutique.
Yep.
And then from then, like, I was getting in classes with, different people, different actors, like out of LA, out of New York, and like that kind of thing, like outside of the university.
Yep.
And then sophomore year, I was doing bigger and bigger film sets. So now, like, if freshman year I was mostly doing like Film 100, directing the narrative, like stuff like that. Now I'm doing like senior theses and like things that are like higher budget, higher stakes kind of thing. And then also sophomore year was the first year I went to the TV Fest that's up in Atlanta. And I got scouted by my next rep at TV Fest, which was like, that was a huge step for me.
Gotcha.
That wasn't like, I didn't procure that. That was just like, they saw me, they needed me on their roster. Like they approached me and it was a few different people. I had the choice, which I was like, whoa, that's like unreal.
Yep.
So I signed with that agency, my like halfway towards the end of my sophomore year.
Yep.
And then we did Little Shop of Horrors at SCAD, and I was in that. Except I got laryngitis right before we opened.
You know what's so funny is I've seen that poster around SCAD, and like, I just would be like, "That's not you," just straight up on that poster. I'm just like, "There's no way that's Drake." But like, it's so crazy.
I don't know if they doctored me or not. Like, maybe they did, but also like, I don't know. I do faces, so maybe it was just and I also look considerably different if I shave all of my facial.
100%, and you would have been 2 years younger, right? However that works. So it's like from when I met you too, but
from like, I think it's crazy. I'm like, in the time that I've been in college, how much I've changed physically. I'm like, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
I really thought I was kind of done after high school. I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to look like for my life. And then like, I'm like, oh no, actually, like, I don't know. Your face still moves. You're like, I don't know. It's like you still mature as time goes on.
No, it's so funny because like when I think someone must have said like, oh yeah, that Drake always throws me off. I was like, I was like, actually, I was like, I just assumed it was a different random kid in this school. Like, but then I was like, okay, wait, that makes sense. I'm like, Okay, but so then junior year comes around, and I think this is like what really helps you, not only with film and stage, but that's where introduction of TV really gets brought into your
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. So at the end of my sophomore year, there was the auditions for the sitcom.
Yeah.
And that was something that I had seen. It had been in my peripheral like freshman, sophomore year.
Yeah.
And I was really, really interested in auditioning for it. And I kept bringing it up to Mark. I was like, when are auditions happening? And then they finally did. I got called back over the summer. So I sent in a tape and I really didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, whatever. Also, I have a story about the initial self-tape for that, but anyway. So I sent back a tape, and like maybe a week or two before the school year starts, the cast list is posted for the sitcom, and I'm like, I'm on it.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, word. Like, so
Yeah.
they gave like brief character descriptions in the audition.
Oh, but they didn't say like.
Well, like we didn't. They were actively writing the show, like,
Yeah.
and the premise and everything like that. So we knew that we were going to have to like kind of make it up and that kind of thing. What I didn't know is that my character was like the lead.
Yeah.
Like I was like, we got the first script on like the first day of that quarter, and I'm like, wow, I have a lot of lines. Do you guys are you like, do you have like, what the hell? I was like, there's so I was so confused, and I did not realize that they were like putting emphasis on like my character. And so that was really like, I went from not knowing anything about sitcom to, okay, now you're leading one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, like, okay, like, let's figure this out. But it was awesome. And I remember when the cast list came out, I started looking up all the people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am easily like the least credible person in this cast. This is crazy. Cause I'm up there with like Jocelyn Shelfo, who's like, she's XO Kitty, and like Samaya Allen Graham, who like has now like, she's got movies under her belt, and like Kane Innes, and like every single person in that ensemble except for Aria Brown and I were seniors already and in showcase. And I'm like, you know, for Aria and I, like, we're like, okay, why are we here? This is crazy. But it was a really, what a fun experience. It's the most collaborative thing in the world, because like they're, like I said, they're like actively writing stuff as you're discovering the character. You make a weird character choice and they're like, yep, that's canon now. That's like, you know, there was a typo in one of the scripts where it was supposed to be like moms, like MOMS, possessive with an apostrophe.
Oh, okay.
So it's talking about something that my mom had. But there was a typo in the script and the apostrophe was removed. So then it was moms, plural. And they were like, yeah, you have two moms now. And I was like, okay, so that's all right. We're making lore changes like that. It works. And it was really funny because now in the most recent episode we filmed, that pays off. That typo from like a year and a half ago paid off. It was crazy. It was so weird. But like stuff like that, it was so cool to create that in the moment and like work with the writers, work with your fellow cast, and learn how to perform in that medium, because I think it is like the perfect marriage of theater and film.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you have the live audience, but you're still being recorded. Was there something in transitioning to TV that you were like, oh, I kept messing up. I never got the hang of this, or like it took me forever to get this, but then eventually I did. But it was just a block that I like. You know, Mark's like, "What are you doing?"
I think like that's good. I think like trusting your performance on camera. I didn't for like a very long time.
Yeah.
Cause it's, I don't know, like, I was used to a certain feedback loop with, rehearsing a show, and like, you know, you get notes from your director, and then you'd get notes from, not notes from the audience, but you could kind of gauge an audience reaction and like that kind of thing. Whereas like on film, you just have to like trust that the director is getting what they're wanting.
Yeah.
You know, if they don't say anything, then it's probably good. you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like that, because I mean, really, if they were to stop you after every take and be like, that was astounding. That was so good. Can we go for another? Like, it's
Yeah,
just, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it would waste time. It wouldn't mean anything after a while. And so like, just trusting that like the director is getting what they're getting, unless they're telling you like, if you could just like whatever, but it's, you're on that set. They hired you for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to like keep proving yourself. And that's something I had to get over.
I think that's the same thing for me. Like, you're the first person that's like phrased it in that way, that which I phrased it in, is like, I feel like when I get a role, I have to prove to them why they put me in that role. So I make a character choice for Jordan playing this character, where it's like, well, no, they just want Jordan as this character, you know, kind of thing. Like, that's why they wanted you. If they wanted something different, they probably find someone who just fits that organically, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that's for something for me that I have to get over, whatever that is, in my acting world, which I think I'm starting to accept, that it's like, okay, this just feels like I'm doing a terrible job, but I guess it's like what they want, you know, kind of thing.
It's hard. It's really hard. And I'm like, you can watch my stuff back. I don't think it's like perfect or anything like that, but like I guess it's what they want. So I'm like, sure, yeah, you know, like, I don't know. There have been times where I'm like, I felt like I got a really good take,
Yeah.
and then they don't use it, and I'm like, really? Okay, yeah, no, I trust the vision. I trust the vision. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing to get over.
Yeah.
It's also, maybe it's a performer's vanity. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just, I don't know, with theater and growing up doing that for so long, it's like you get so many opportunities on stage.
Yeah.
Every single time you do the show, it's completely different, you know. And I don't know how many times I've been doing a show for weeks, maybe months, and then like one of the performances, I'm like, oh, that's what that means,
Yeah.
you know. And like, and I just get it, and then I start saying the line
Yep.
differently, but it like works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you have to like discover that not over the course of months, but like in a moment.
Yeah.
On a film set. And I think that's the big thing that I had to learn.
I think what's fascinating is, like, as I've had more opportunities to be on sets more and see how they operate, I think I just was like, trying to see how to phrase this. Like, I think I always thought it was scary because it's like, oh my gosh, you gotta like have your lines perfect, and then there's amount of take, and it's time. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to be the issue, kind of thing. But then as like, if I watch sets, you know, whether it's professional or student, it's like, they're like, sometimes they're just feeding the actors the line, like, straight up. And it's just like, well, no, because we just need it to have it this way, and we can cut between all these takes to get what we want. But, and I think like just seeing that, I'm like, oh wait, it's not like that.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I think for me at least, the most similar experience to theater I've gotten on like film is if there's a monologue.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a monologue, then I have to learn that like I'd learn my lines in a show. Like it's like that needs to be. It doesn't necessarily, depending on the writer, it doesn't necessarily need to be word perfect, so long as it is like, it still conveys the same message.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it does need to be word perfect, so you do have to do that. But like, that is another thing, for sake of continuity, a lot of times things are either need to be word perfect or movement perfect.
Yeah.
You know, to match whatever shot they printed on. But
no, that's fascinating. So then I guess we just wrap up before we switch topics. But junior year going into senior year is like auditioning for Showcase and whatnot. And what was your experience, your attention? I only am asking this because I think Augustina showed me what your audition tape was for MT.
Did she show you the video?
And I'm like, that's so good,
dude.
Because our whole thing was like, for my first round of audition was like, take a risk. And it's like, okay, I don't know what. Like, obviously it's like, yeah, you want to sing the song that you're comfortable with, that you know that like you could be cast in a role like that. But I'm just like, okay, so for me, my risk was playing my trumpet. But then she showed me what your risk was, and I was like, that's so good.
Well, okay, I have to give a lot of credit to Leslie Odom Jr. because at the time, I know Augustina talked about this, but like at the time that we were auditioning for both Showcases, we were in the middle of this cabaret.
Oh.
And so like we had been working with Leslie Odom Jr. for the last however many weeks, and just the profound knowledge that he spilt on us every single day was just like, dude, like, why don't you like, you should be a philosopher. Like, it's crazy. Oh my God. It's
what was like a few things that he said or taught you guys that you still use that today in your work?
I know Augustina said this, but the biggest thing he always would harp on us for is you are enough. Like the mantra of you are enough, and like tell that to yourself, know that about yourself, and like put it out into the world. I loved his adage of art should cost something. Like when you put something out, like you need to be vulnerable, or you need to like, I don't know, like be in touch with your emotion enough to be able to like if you're really sad in a scene, you're not faking it. Like you are sad. You in some way. It doesn't have to be so like you don't have to have lived that experience necessarily, but like there is a level of like legitimate sadness to you that you're sharing with the audience, and it should hurt. It should cost you something to like produce good art. So that stuck with me. And then the other thing is too, while I'm in the middle of like struggling with like figuring out on camera acting and stuff, he was talking about his time in the Knives Out franchise. And he was talking about how, you know, he did a lot of stage his whole life. And then all of a sudden he's doing more like film and that kind of thing. And there was one point in the Knives Out movie where he was just really having a hard time with a scene and like not getting it.
Interesting.
And he was talking to the director, and he was like, I'm really, man, like I'm trying. And he goes, the camera loves to watch you try. The director said that to Leslie. And like that stuck with Leslie. And then Leslie brought us on. The camera loves to watch you try. It's like, just the idea that like you are digesting the words and thinking about the character, and like, and that translates, you know?
Gotcha.
And I'm a big believer of like, even if you are like, maybe you're not doing it exactly in the way you envision, but if you're like putting legitimate thought into it and like living in that character in that moment, then it's working, you know? And I have to poke fun at him a little bit because I think he's such a wise, profound person. But then sometimes you just need it straight. And that's his wife. His wife, Nicolette, she's a phenomenal performer in her own right. And she's done some really, really incredible things. But it's hilarious seeing those two together because you'll ask a question and he'll give you this really thought-provoking, like, wise answer. And then you're like, okay, what did that mean? And then she's like, this is what he meant by that. It's a perfect balance. And I'm like, they're meant for each other. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Anyway, so going back to the showcase audition, like auditions are coming around, and I was like, okay, I need 2 songs. So I did a song from Billy Elliot because that did play a really important part in my life, and I did like kind of it felt like a retrospective on just like that chapter of my life. But then the reason that I did Man or Muppet from the 2011 Muppets movie starring Jason Segel was because that was one of the songs that I performed in the cabaret. And it was that song, bringing that into the room and like performing that for the first time for Leslie was a really big like unlock for me, because for some reason I was holding myself back from like doing comedy and like doing doing songs that I was unsure about, because I'm like, you know, it worked really well for the person who did it, but like what if I can't bring a unique enough take to it or whatever. And it's like, no, like if I'm going out there and I'm performing the song, that in of itself is enough to you know, differentiate between the original artist and myself. And so it's like I don't need to like ask for permission to do a dumb song. Like just do a dumb song. And then I used to do YouTube and stuff, so I'm like, I know my way around like video editing. So I was like, yeah, I'll just like clone myself and sing a duet with myself, and that's what I'll submit. And they thought it was funny, so it's like we had to submit those like a week or two before the year ended, and so for that week or two, like that was all I heard from the professors that were like watching the tapes. They were like, "You sly dog, you've done it again." But yeah, I mean, that ended up getting me into musical theater showcase, and then they liked my scene and monologue for acting showcase for some reason. So I was like, cool.
Did you think were going into it, did you think like you had a pretty good shot of getting into either? And it was just a matter of like, I just have to show up and like prove to, or was that something like of a surprise to you? You're like, oh wow, like this is a great opportunity.
Okay, this is gonna sound really
yeah, and
arrogant.
I know you can sound arrogant, but like, guys, whoever's watching this, he doesn't mean it in an arrogant way. I posed it in a way that's gonna make it sound arrogant, but
it wasn't that I was expecting to get in.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a shock.
Yeah, a shock. Yep.
It was
like you knew you had a good chance.
Well, I think it was just like when I put all my stuff on tape, I'm like, this is the best that I can do in this moment, and I'm proud of it. Yep. So, come what may, if I get into it, if I don't get into it, I'm still proud of this. Yep. This is still the thing that I'm doing, so be it. Yeah. And so I was indifferent. And honestly, as well, I was on vacation when the list came out, so I was very much in like a state of relaxation. It was like a thing where I'm like, in a pool.
When did your guys' list come out?
Pretty quickly after the quarter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did they come out together or separately? I'm asking because I swear people have been saying that these lists come out at like July, but
they have. They have before. Okay. This one was, as far as I remember, it was pretty quick. I'm pretty sure it was when I was on vacation, which was like the first or second week of June. Okay. Like it was from what I remember, it was pretty quick after graduation.
Okay, that's cool.
Or after the end of the year.
Yep.
And I think they came out like one right after the other. It wasn't like together.
Okay, and that's why I was curious if they wait to like make sure they send it together or not. But
I mean, not like they don't wait in like a day or anything like that. It's sort of just like however long it takes the email to send.
Got you.
But yeah, I don't know.
What was your experience in showcase as an actor and vocal performer?
Two wildly different experiences.
That's what I've heard as well from people that had the opportunity to be in both.
Yeah, both were great in their own way. Musical theater it was smaller, significantly smaller than acting.
How many
showcase.
people were in musical theater compared to acting showcase? You can just give me an estimate. You don't have to be exact.
I think there was 9.
Really?
Good question. And like I know all of the people. I just can't put a number.
Wait, hold up, Mike. Look up acting showcase 2026. Are you guys 2026?
Yeah. Well, acting showcase and then musical theater showcase.
And let's see what we got.
There's 2 separate websites.
And as you do that, Mike, I'm gonna bring your water to you that I poured at the beginning of this episode that I never handed to you.
Got cottonmouth over here.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Thirsty.
Let's see, acting showcase. Thanks, man. Yeah. 2026.
Acting showcase was like 15, 20 people or something like
that. I see Dave.
That's acting.
Dave, I see Jeff.
That's probably a smarter way.
I see Caroline.
I was just gonna count because they have all our headshots like in a grid.
Oh.
I was gonna count that, but like I was like 4.
Wait, 4 and then count down the left side. How many heads? 1, 2, 12. Yeah, thanks for counting my
4s. So 19.
Okay. I feel like that's a lot.
19. That's acting. Yeah. That's acting showcase. Musical theater showcase, I think, was just.
Okay, yeah. See if they show up musical.
So where do they go from here?
I think what's so interesting is like as like a freshman, right? Because we're first year grads, like you have done the whole undergrad thing and you come in and then there's like this big thing that's like showcase, you know? And at least for me, I came in here being like, there's a good chance I'm not going to be in a showcase. And it was like, is that something you're fine with? And I was like, yes, because I want what SCAD offers education wise.
Yeah.
And I want that crash course that SCAD really pushes that maybe not other schools don't necessarily do. And so, so for me, I was like, yeah, that's what I want. And I don't know. Wait, I think he's got a number.
It's 11.
11. Okay.
So, and it would have been 20 and 12 because Eli was he was also in both.
Yep.
And then booked Broadway or whatever. So like, you know, you win some, you lose some, I guess.
He missed out.
Honestly, I mean, there was a whole year there, Eli. Come on, we missed you.
I'm sure you missed us.
Yeah, right. You talked about us on Broadway, right?
My name came up once or twice, right?
But
that's so funny.
So it wasn't like they're both not like huge groups, but it felt like it because especially acting showcase, the intention is to like take time and bring in scenes and try them with like basically every single person, see who has good chemistry, what scenes work or whatever. But you end up with a group that big, you ended up running out of time. And it felt like in hindsight, I think we probably would have benefited from just having a smaller group of people.
Yeah.
But I think overall the experience was collaborative, and insightful. And like, I can't pretend like it's not really nice to be put up for all of the things. Like, the university takes the showcase seriously in the sense that like if something is coming to Savannah, they're going to put showcase in front of it first and be like, this is, like Film Fest. It's like we get the passes and we're front row for everything and in private master classes and like workshops and stuff. And that stuff is all super beneficial. But it's the actual like process itself. It's weird. Because acting showcase especially is over the course of the whole year. But the reality is for a film set, you have maybe like, if you get the script, it's like a week.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have longer if you had a bigger part on something or whatever. But like the point being, you don't get a lot of actual like rehearsal typically. So it was really weird to have these film scenes where it's like you get it in September and you're not shooting it until February. And in the meantime, you're like working on it, but you're not committing to anything. And it's like,
and well, you don't want to over rehearse too, because then you just lose spontaneity or whatever.
You want to keep it fresh, but you keep rehearsing it, and then they need to keep bringing it in to like do a camera rehearsal and do it, and it's like, it all makes sense, but like all of that stuff also could be found out on the day. Yeah. And so it was a little bit weird in that way. Musical Theater Showcase, on the other hand, was a very, very different kind of collaborative experience where like the first quarter, we weren't worried about finding our showcase like package at all. It was just, like kind of developing ourselves as artists. And so we did a musical like tribute show to Rufus Wainwright. Like that was a huge event for us in the fall. And then we had another like private showing of just some songs that we liked and that kind of thing. Winter quarter was, all right, let's, figure out some songs that we could potentially use. And then the end of winter quarter was actually definitively deciding this is what I'm going to do, when we do the showcase. And then we came back for spring quarter, and that was just like we didn't even rehearse for the first few weeks. It was just like we did not have rehearsal. We weren't called. And then like 2 weeks before we put up the showcase, we were called in to do like tech rehearsals and everything like that, like a normal show. And that's what it felt like. Like when the day of showcase, when we had all of the representatives and everything in the room, it was like, okay, we're just performing a show. So it took a lot of the immediate pressure off. And then after that was the mixer where people could go and, acting showcase and musical theater came together to like talk to these people. And that was cool.
It's interesting because you're the first one. I think I've had someone that was just musical, and I've had someone that's just acting, and you're that first person that's had your foot in both. Was it difficult to? Well, I guess it's interesting because you didn't have a full load of classes
Not this quarter.
this quarter. So was that something that was very challenging, fall and spring or fall and winter, having both of those on top of a class load?
Yeah, I would say, I think honestly, musical theater showcase ended up being harder.
Interesting.
Because if not every single week, every single day, you were bringing in a new song. And sometimes it was songs that you picked. Sometimes it was songs that they picked for you. Sometimes it was 3 songs.
Yeah.
And it was like, you just had to keep running that muscle and like keep learning new pieces. And so there was like 1 or 2 times where I like fell behind on that, and I'm like, I showed up and I was like, I don't know this song yet. Like I need 1 more day on it.
Yeah.
And they were very kind about that. But that was the hardest thing, I think. And then also because for all of fall quarter, I was working basically full time at the brewery that I work at.
Yep.
And so it was balancing that with working with classes. Winter quarter, I took a break from work, so I wasn't working.
I was gonna
at
say,
all.
I'm like, I don't know how you did winter quarter
Dude.
based on what you were just saying. But
I tried to do. I worked all 3 quarters last year.
yeah.
And that was awful because winter quarter became like just super packed.
Okay.
But I still was working full time.
Yep.
And I just like it sucked. Don't want to do that again. So no, I took a break from work for winter quarter. But still I was, extremely busy with all the stuff that I had going on. And then spring quarter, we didn't rehearse at all for acting showcase because we had already shot that back in like the 2nd week of February. And so we had very minimal rehearsal for musical theater showcase. So then by the time spring quarter came around, the only thing I was really focused on was West Side and work and like finishing up the showcase stuff. And then there was performance ensemble had a show that we did first week.
Is it crazy to think that you've been at SCAD now 4 years and you're shipping off to New York City and taking on the Big Apple,
Yeah, it's really weird because I didn't think I was going to be here for 1 year, let alone 4.
True, yeah.
And so I'm like, Bella Greist, it was like week 1 or 2 of freshman year. We like went to a coffee shop and I was just like ranting. I was like, this sucks. I gotta get out of here. I gotta, and she was so like kind to me. She was like agreeing with me. She didn't agree with it necessarily, but she was agreeing with me and being like, yeah. Oh, tell me more. But like, and now like I've been here for 4 years and I don't know. It's weird to be on the other side of it. And it's weird that now college is in the rear view.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's done. That chapter of my life. So now it's like, okay, I can't do the whole like, oh, I don't really have a job right now. I'm being a student. Like now I'm just unemployed. Like let's,
all those memes where it's like, I went to college. I went to grad school because just to delay being unemployed.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like I put it off until So it's just weird to be like, no, like I'm an adult. There's nothing else as far as like, I don't know, like adolescence experience or whatever.
Yep.
And I'm done being like a student in like a proper sense of the word, probably for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Do you have any interest in teaching or no?
I don't know that I'd be any good at it. I feel like
you'd be that fun professor.
Thanks. I feel like it'd be fun. I just don't like.
And I mean, now you're so young compared to when you've had experience, and then you'd be like, you know what, maybe I do want to tell 1 or 2 people what happened.
I would absolutely love to like go back to my community back home.
Yeah.
And like teach in Fargo and like try to bridge the gap between.
That's kind of I think where I'm like, because I saw my education at my small university. And I'm like, I don't even know what we were doing here. I'm like, I've had 1 year at SCAD and I'm like, bro, even then I knew I was like that we weren't being taught anything. And now here I'm like, I feel like I could go back and just teach kids that are a year younger than me what needs to happen or what you need to do to get there. Just like, and I think they would be appreciative, be like, oh, that's the industry. Oh, okay.
And and like if I could teach, it would be to that community to be a bridge.
Yeah.
But I also know that like I need some bigger credits under my belt. I think maybe not, but like I just feel like if some kid,
I'm with you. I feel like the imposter syndrome would be like, why am I here?
Yeah,
like, I haven't done
someone
anything.
would call me out on it. Well, like, have you done? It's like, well, no, but you didn't have to bring that. Damn, like, and like I just because I always found it a little bit irritating if like a school or like a program or something would like bring someone in, but it's like a D tier, like. They were an extra one time and they're like, yeah, I'm an actor. And I was like, not to discredit extra work, but I'm just like, I always was like, well, why can't we, like, what's preventing us from getting the real deal? Like, where's, And
then that leaves the question of like, oh, this is the best the school's produced? Like,
Okay, so
wait, hold up.
I got a quick question for you.
Go for it.
How many times have you done like extra work, background work before?
I have been an extra on like 3 or 4 projects. Only 2 of which were like big time like movie thing.
I've done about like 3 or 4 as well. But from your experiences doing extra work, 'cause I feel like this happens to me every time I do extra work. There's always like that one person who's also doing extra who feels like he's a Leonardo DiCaprio of like, no.
This is real.
There's always that one guy that walks in. He's like, yeah, I run this shit. Like,
I was doing extra work on Comeback King on the Judd Apatow movie.
Oh, did you meet? We might be talking to the same guy.
I don't know. But one of the days that I was there was this dude, and like he's giving notes to like other people and like how to like be.
Was he tall?
Was
he tall?
Well, the person I'm talking about, I realized now. I kept saying he. No, it was a girl. It was some, and I only saw her like for an hour during that scene, and then she disappeared somewhere else. But she like came up and was like giving notes to people on like how to like not just like how to be background, but like how to like pantomime and how to like say like words like in the context of a scene and like make up a scene around yourself and stuff. And it's like, number one, like a third of the people that you're talking to right now aren't actors. They're doing this because we're in Macon, Georgia, and they wanted to be on the movie, and that's a perfectly valid reason to be an extra. Like make a little money, hang out on a movie set. There's nothing wrong with that.
See some famous people,
but like you don't have to be like a big time actor to be an extra, but then also don't like go into it expecting everybody to be as serious about it as because it's not that big of a deal. Like we don't have to make it, something it's not. And this person absolutely was doing that. And it's like, dude, like, I'm sorry. We were in the middle of a concert scene and she was like getting after people for like saying actual words instead of mouthing things. And I'm like, the camera that is picking up any audio is 20 feet behind us. The boom operator is on the other side of the room. We are not being heard. I'm going to talk about the fake beer that's in my hand and I'm going to have a good time. And it just was like, it's not that deep. Like,
also, like, that's a lot of time and energy to devote for a 15-second moment. Like, to develop like, that your character.
If
like,
anything, right? Like, I'm sorry, but like, you also think we're gonna make the cut? Like this?
Yeah, exactly. No, we're trying not to give them a reason to cut us. No,
right? No, I'm like, it's just, it's so not that serious. Like,
I swear, every time I've done it, even when I recently did Comeback King, there's like always that one person who just walks in with like this particular swag and whatnot, and he's always the one trying to make himself the most well-known, the most boisterous person or whatever, and it's just It's like,
All right,
turn
Mike,
it
who
down a
hurt
notch,
you?
bro.
It's like I almost sometimes for some
I mean,
of
I
those
love
people,
the
I'm like,
energy, but it's like, yo, look around.
yeah. I almost want to give some of those people a line just to see if they'd like flub it. Like, they get up there and they like fold under the pressure, and it's like, yeah, okay, like
Maybe I just was. I don't think desensitized is the right word, but my experience on films was like, as an extra, I'm just like, that's cool. Like,
yeah, that's
like,
what it. Yeah,
and like maybe if I had a line, does that change it? All of a sudden you get the like, but I'm just like, they just need a warm body, guys.
There's always
And
that
you're gonna be out of
small
focus
plus
anyway.
Pretty
They're
much.
gonna rack focus that shit. So
yeah, it's like, and you definitely can tell if the camera is right in front of your face. Like
Yeah.
you said, they pulled the camera up on you.
yeah.
Like, yeah, you're in that shot.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like, you can tell when you're in a shot for sure. But, like, man, there was one of the days that I was on set, I was, like, in the balcony behind the lights, and the camera was pointed the opposite direction. And I'm like, peace and love. Like, I'm not giving a performance right now. I'm going to just hang out. Like, I'm going to drink my apple juice that looks like beer
Yep.
and, like, have a good time. And
Yeah.
that was, but it's like, that's what it is. Like, I think to be an extra on a film, it's just like, you are being paid to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. It's like anytime like the day starts to get long, I'm like, yeah, but you know what? What did I do today?
Yeah.
I got paid to sit here. And so I'm like,
Because otherwise I'd be sitting on my bed.
right. I'm like and I'm like, and at the end of the day, like, even if I'm not sitting there like networking
Yeah.
or, meeting the director or whatever, I'm still on the set.
No.
And I'm still like, you're still around all that.
You're
hearing it,
in the industry. You're seeing how it's operating, at least in this specific moment. And I think that for me was like the biggest was like, oh, this is how it's. It just was like, oh, this is a student film. Just like a lot more going on, a lot more people on set. Yeah. Like that's what I felt like, which I think was like a cool feeling. Because if I think I was like, holy crap, like I'm on set. Like I'm like, maybe this isn't the industry for you, But it's like, I don't know, it just feels like a set.
And I have to applaud. I've never taken any of the film curriculum here, but I have to applaud SCAD on like how they must be teaching it pretty well, because like I feel like a lot of the student sets that I've been on, and maybe I've just been lucky, but they're very like industry standard.
No, for sure.
It's like, we're breaking after 6 hours and we're having a meal, and like we're never going over. We have 12-hour turnarounds, and we have like it's like it's all there.
No, I think because my undergrad wasn't really that. We didn't really have a film department. We lost our film professor like my freshman year or sophomore year, and they didn't rehire until like my junior senior. So they must have lost it like right before I got there. So film wasn't that big. So they kind of had professors kind of teaching it who were doing more television vibes instead of film, and. So, but by the time I kind of got lucky because I did all my theater credits first and then did all my film credits. So then they got a film professor that knew more what was going on. And it's funny because you can see the quality change from like the first 2 years and being like, oh yeah, these are student films, to being like, oh wait, hold up, these have a little bit more oomph to them. Like you could submit them to a festival and they might win an award. Before it was like, I would never put this on YouTube, kind of vibe.
Yeah. And boy, I have some of those. So there was one. Have you met Jordan Spalding?
Yeah. No, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. So she and I were on a film our freshman year, and it was marketed to us as a graduate thesis, and we had known about senior theses, so we were like, okay, like this will be like a big deal. But the graduate program, the trick of that is you only have 2 years, and it seemed like, at least at the time, that specific graduate program had less of a bar that you had to hit than like you're going to prove yourself once you're already here.
Yeah.
So this graduate, we had like 3 overnight shoots.
Like back to back to back or no?
Yeah. Over one weekend. And there were 3 people on the call sheet. There was me, Jordan, and above both of us, a goat, like an animal, like a goat. So we were 2 and 3 on the call sheet. To the goat was number 1, and there was like a wrangler that was there, and Jordan and I sat in holding for hours while they tried to get a performance out of a literal goat, and we just had to sit there, and there were no monitors. We didn't have a PA in there. Like, there was like no one to like talk to us or inform us. So we were just like, I guess.
What year is this?
Freshman year.
Okay, yeah.
It was like, I was like, I was like, this is awful.
This is terrible.
And we never got the footage. So we never even got to see if it was like really that abysmal or if it just felt like it.
Yeah.
But it was probably really bad. It was like, I don't even, man, it was a silent film, but that was only decided after the fact.
Yeah, when they didn't get audio. No, I'm just kidding.
Really though, it was like they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with dialogue or audio, and so then it became a silent film, and it was weirdly like art house, and it was like, I don't know, like I had this really bizarre like punk makeup on, but then Jordan like had like clown makeup on, and it was like, what? And then there was Goat, and we're like, what are we doing here? Like, this is crazy. But yeah,
hey, that's why we love SCAD though. Anything can happen.
Anything. Well, okay, but now I'm curious. So you came in like this year.
Yeah.
And how was the university marketed to you?
Okay, so from my options that were like, you have your options to be like, that would be cool if I went to this school. But then you looked at financially, you're just like, yeah, it ain't going to happen. So I had it down to 2 programs, and one program was in LA, and it just seemed like a glorified what I just did for undergrad.
Sure.
They were marketing it as like, you're going to do a ton of acting. However, the acting was like more film acting, which I also was interested in. But there was no such thing as like a professor really it's only student films. And I was like, oh, so if I'm on set, I'm not going to be learning from some of that. This kid's going to be just as confused as I am, So it's like, so I knew I wanted more professor work around with. And I felt like I already had that program. Like literally the funny thing was like, I was talking to their head chair or whatever on a Zoom call, and they're like, one of their big pushes, like, and so we are introducing this class. It's a podcast class. We're going to teach you guys how to like create podcasts. Keep in mind, I like literally was doing this already. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's my answer. It's just like, it's like, oh, like your biggest pull, like I already know how to do in that way, And so then and then talking with SCAD or whatever. So that's why I think it more of just like, instead of me picking SCAD, it just felt like SCAD kept picking me. Or every time I would be like, oh, I don't think I can make it work. Like something would happen. It's like, oh no, you're going. Like, and so I think eventually you just like, you give up and you're like, okay, I think I'm meant to go to SCAD. And so then I think it made that decision very easy for me, at least, going from undergrad to SCAD. And I knew I needed to get more education because my theater program really didn't teach me anything about the industry. And so I knew if I was going to do this professionally, I just right away I needed to, because I think I would have loved to, if I like came to a SCAD first, I think I would have loved to like try the industry, see what happens, and then be like, oh no, I'm missing something. That's why I'm not getting cast or something's up, and then go back to school. I think that would have been like ideal for me, but it's like, I have no idea about anything going on in this industry. I need to go to somewhere that's going to just catch me up to speed on not only how to act and perform, but how the industry operates and the ins and outs of talking to casting directors and what they're looking for. And so that's why I think I really was like, I think SCAD just has it for me. So, but yeah,
word.
That was my whole process in coming to SCAD.
I will say, I've said this a lot of times in interviews before, but I think SCAD does professional practice really well.
Yeah.
It's like everything that we do is like either industry standard or above it, or like, it's like, it's just very practical. It's like, this will happen, but like, it's still in an educational environment where it's like, it's okay to fail. It's okay to, not be perfect with this, because it's just the school, like this or that isn't riding on it,
But it's interesting because I know you're making the decision. You're heading off to New York. Was that something you always thought you were going to do post? Because I know you talked about like, shit, I don't even want to go to SCAD. I'm just going to go to New York right away. So did you know like, okay, post SCAD, that's my plan?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I really did not like New York the first time I went.
Yep.
But as I was becoming a senior in high school, I was like, if I want to pursue musical theater professionally, I feel like that is where I need to go. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm going to do it. So I'm like, all right, like, let's, kind of work my way up to New York. And I was like, just gonna move there and just gonna like use the few connections that I had from back in Fargo and that kind of thing. Then Unifieds happened in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Scott reached out to me, and I ended up going here, and it just sort of, excuse me. I guess it just sort of like delayed the inevitable.
Yeah.
Like it really, this felt like just like a 4-year detour, but like
your heart still was with the apple.
I think so. I think because I even freshman and sophomore year, I really kicked around the idea of going to California.
Wow.
And I like so much that like, and I had never been, but I like, you know, like I said, my family like sometimes structured their vacations around like where my sister and I were like looking at school and that kind of thing. So we went to Los Angeles to like get a feel for it and that kind of thing. And it was awesome. I had a wonderful time, but I was like, I don't know if I could live here unless someone was paying me to like be on a project or something like that. I was like, I think my work can bring me here, but I'm not coming.
That's what I say too with LA, especially, and whatnot. But so you kind of just knew, you're like, yeah, New York's what it is, and now you've got your apartment ready to go and lock, and that's kind of like you got a week here before.
Yeah, I'm like, because I've already moved in and everything. As far as like, I have the keys. I threw down my first bout of stuff, and like, I don't know. I'm sending a bunch of mail up there because I know it's gonna take too long for me to get it here.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like, in like a week and a day, I'm driving up there, and like that'll be it. I'll like live in New York, and I'm like, I don't know. It's surreal.
That's so crazy. I look forward because I'm gonna have reasons to go up to New York. And I'm gonna hit you up and be like, "Hey, what are you doing,
dude?"
And hope that you're not doing anything too crazy that I could hang out and catch you.
All the coffee shops, all the bars, restaurants.
No, it's gonna be so fun.
I spent when I went up there and I moved in, like I spent a long weekend up there, and I like made a point. I'm like, I'm only gonna like eat, drink, hang out in my neighborhood, so I can get a feel for it. And what a cool neighborhood! I was like,
we lucked out,
awesome.
baby.
I was like, oh. Whew. I was like, okay, it doesn't suck. No, it's great. And I'm like, and it's, I'm outside of like the main, like I'm not in Midtown or anything like that. I'm up north on the island, and like, it's awesome. It's so, I'm able to get away, but there's still, I mean, there's still people, but all the people that are up there are like locals. It's like, it is your community. It's not tourists for the most part.
Yep.
You know, and like the tourists who do go up that far are a lot more mild.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah.
It's not as crazy.
Or they seem like, to me at least, it seems like those are people that are either visiting family or like have been there multiple times, and that's why they're comfortable going so far north away from the city. You know.
Yeah, it's just and like I get it as far as like if you are visiting, it's like all of the main stuff is in Midtown or like Lower Manhattan. And like, you know, if like you just it's just like off the beaten path for a tourist. Like there's like no reason.
Yeah.
There are plenty of reasons to go up there, but like there's no reason I think for a tourist who maybe has a couple days in the city to see everything.
No, that's so cool. What's your plan now that you're there? Are you trying to get representation right away, or are you just auditioning for everything now? You're going to get through those 5 a.m. calls, you know, and wait in line, or what's your...
So I'm in between representation right now. I have a couple meetings, and I dropped my previous representation ahead of Showcase.
Okay.
But there wasn't any sort of like immediate bids after Showcase. However, like I said, I'm in talks with a few different places.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I'm very thankful for. So we'll see. I mean, if I do sign with them, if I don't, but like the immediate next step is get film and television representation again, because what I like about film and TV representation is they work in the background for you like really well. It's like you're working full time and they're sending you tapes, and you're doing, you do the work of like doing the tapes and everything like that. But they are the ones that are like not getting you in these rooms, but like finding these auditions for you. 'Cause like you have to go through an agent for film and TV. It's like so much more under like lock and key versus theater is like, you kind of find those opportunities yourself, like agents absolutely play a big part in it, but it seems like it's after you've sort of,
Yeah.
been in it for a little bit that you get your agent. And it's more of like a maintenance thing than a like procuring it in the first place.
Interesting.
And that's not a rule. It's just an observation.
No, I mean, it's fascinating. I think everyone has a different point of view too of what they've experienced as well,
Yeah.
Is commercials and whatnot interest you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love a commercial contract. I would love to like be like, yep, this is how I know that I'm going to make this much money for, however long it runs or whatever. I haven't had a commercial contract, so as much as just like a few short running ads. But it's like commercials can be really good money. Yeah. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind it.
Well, it's interesting because I've talked to people from SCAD, whether they're even on the film side or acting side, and it's just that idea of like, like advertising is like what pays the bills so that then I can go do my passion project. I just think that's interesting. And I haven't had a ton of experience with advertising or commercials and whatnot, but I think for me, I'm like, if it's a product that I'm like, I would use this shit, it's like, sign me up, but.
And there's things that I absolutely would be like, yeah, like I want to promote that. Like,
are there things that you're like, I'd have no interest in promoting? You don't have to.
No, I mean, like I feel,
because I don't want to blacklist you from.
And I never did a Little Caesars commercial after that. No, I don't know. I feel like the list of like, it would have to be case by case. If it like came across my desk and I was like, no, I can't.
Okay, wait. Like, this comes to another question though. Quick, is there like a type of role that you're like, I just wouldn't do that? Or do you think you're very fluent and like, I would do anything that came across my desk?
I don't want to count myself out in case it's a good contract.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know that I would do like a 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's probably... But hey, if it's a really good contract and I love the script and they are wanting me for it, then I'd consider it for sure.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know that like
we're gonna need a Drake double. Body
like,
double.
And like right now, written into my contract, I'm like, there are
stipulations and whatnot.
Yeah, like I have limits as far as what I will like show and like do and that kind of thing. But I think like that kind of character, like, I just don't know if it necessarily interests me. Yeah. Maybe if it was, again, if it was really well written, if it was like a really interesting character and that was just something that also was a part of the character, sure. Yeah. But yeah.
I'm just always curious, like, on what people, like, what boundaries they set for themselves in that way. Because I think this industry, you can go in so many different directions. And at times, maybe you just, like, not lose control of it, but you're just, like, there's so much going on. You just get caught up in the moment. And I'm just always curious on, like, if there's any things that people are like, yeah, I don't know if I would do that, or I don't care, I would do anything,
I think there's more that I'm like, I really want to do that, and that's like, I really want to do a period piece. Like, it doesn't have to be set in the past, it can be set in the distant future, which is also, I guess, like sci-fi, cyberpunk kind of thing. But like adjacent to like a Blade Runner, or to like, or like if it's sort of like a spin on like a Westworld where it's like it feels old but it's not. Okay, like I would love to do a period piece. That'd be so cool. Like that is the epitome of like playing dress up and like doing, I'm like, that's awesome. And you're just completely in that world, and then all of the props that are made are like so intricate.
And then eventually you get your Disney contract and you have a lightsaber.
Dude, no, that is a legitimate career goal of mine, is be in a Star Wars project. I've manifested that. Like, that was one of the first questions I was asked on like my first ever red carpet, was like, do you have any career goals for yourself? So I'm like, yeah, I'm manifesting this now. I'm going to be in a Star Wars project. And I'm like, I will hold myself to that. Like, I have a whole tattoo idea. Okay. I'm like, if I realize we're using this camera. I was like, I have a whole tattoo idea where I'm like, if I book a Star Wars project, I'm going to do like right here on like my breast, I'm going to do the Rebel Alliance logo in like black ink. but then I'm gonna wait and then do a second pass over it in blackout or like blacklight ink. And when you shine a blacklight on it, the Rebel Alliance logo will become the Jedi Order logo, because like the Jedi Order was like a founding principle of the Rebel Alliance. It was like,
Damn. Okay. All right.
But I'm like, I will only do that if I book a Star Wars project.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
When you say book though, you got to have a line.
Uncertain, because like if I'm in a Star Wars project, and I get to wear, like, if I get to be a stormtrooper, if I get to be like if I'm in armor, sure, okay,
all right.
great,
Yeah.
like I get to be on a Star Wars set in the costume. Would I prefer to have an actual part? Yes.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm like a legitimately dressed up extra, I won't count it.
Did you get to present the award to Mark Hamill? Okay, yeah. I was trying to think. I was like, I'm pretty sure
Dude.
that was the pairing that I saw. I'm like, so what was that for you?
Of Star Wars actors, I've met Natalie Portman.
Yep.
I've met Mark Hamill. I keep collecting Star Wars, and it's so cool. And I'm like, this is awesome. He is just the coolest guy.
Dude, yeah. I got lucky because we had a different event earlier in the day, and so then it was like, hey, because you came to this event, we're gonna make sure you get a Mark Hamill. And then we were waiting in line, and they're like, hey, we need to fill up the seats for this director. Like, whoever was in that meeting, come here. You'll be in the Mark Hamill, don't worry. And then they're like, you guys stay. Everyone left, and they're like, you can take whatever seat you want. So then all of us obviously sat in the front row. So it was like so cool because it was like I got to sit this close to like Mike, and it was just like, whoa, like this is what I grew up watching.
Yeah,
like what?
I was really lucky with how the day went out, because I was able to spend like a good chunk of the day with him.
Okay.
And his wife and his daughter.
Yep.
And like I got to be with Mary Lou and Chelsea, and like it was, and we all just like talked, and talking to him is like, not to like call him old, but it's like talking to your favorite grandpa. Like he's so sweet, but has so many good stories and can remember, so far back in such clear detail. Yeah. I feel like I owe him, because he's such a good storyteller that he told a story about Carrie Fisher. And like I feel like I know her in a way that like
no one else would.
Well, just, like, unless you've heard that story or knew her,
Yeah.
But I never got the chance to meet her. I never will get the chance to meet her. So, like, that was the closest I can be to have been meeting her. And, like, it was so vivid. And just, like, I was like, wow, like, I can really see, like, her as a person through that story. I'm like, that's so cool. He's such and what a nice guy. I had him... you're not supposed to do this, but I feel like I did it in a very tactful way.
Allegedly.
I had my dad back in, he went to the first Star Wars movie when it came out. So this back in 1978, he had a book, like a scholastic book, and it was like stills from the movie and that kind of thing, along with like the story. So basically a storybook.
Yep.
But there's a 2-page spread of just Luke looking off into the sunset from like that famous scene. Yep. And so I brought that book with me, that my dad had given to me. And I had a really great long conversation with Mark Hamill. And at the very end of it, I was like, if you wouldn't mind, like, my dad like introduced me to Star Wars. He was raised on Star Wars. You are his hero. Can I have you dedicate this book to my dad? And he's like, yeah.
Sure.
Well, and then I was like, and don't worry, you're not gonna see it on eBay or anything like that. And he's like, well, usually when people are dedicating it to a specific person, I don't have to worry about it. And he's like, he was making, I don't know, that was a really bad. He was making jokes, like I just can't think of any other jokes that he said. But he was really cool about it. And like I said, you're like not supposed to do that, but I tried to do it in a way that wasn't intrusive.
Yeah. No.
And also I'm like, I may never see him.
No,
again in
exactly.
person. If I do, that's awesome. If we work on a project together, phenomenal. But if I don't,
he'll never do another Star Wars. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was like, no Star Wars again. No. But yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, because for some of the younger people who came to the film fest and stuff like that, there legitimately is a networking opportunity there. As far as like Kieran Culkin last year when I was hanging out with him, it wasn't that I was like trying to get something out of him, but it's like we could work in a project together.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're not that far apart in age.
Yeah.
We're like there's still so many things, like, not to say that age is that big of a factor as far as casting, but like I think it's more likely that I will be in a project with Kieran Culkin than Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And so that's part of it. I was like, I'm going to take this opportunity when I can.
To be a fan. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because also he's one of those people where it's like he fully recognizes how big it is, how much of an impact it's had on so many people, and how persistent it is in pop culture.
Yep.
So I think, you know, not to speak for him, but if anything, I'm sure he was glad I just wasn't like nerding out the whole time.
No. Yeah.
And, you know, but yeah, that was unreal. And I treasure the pictures that I have from that. My hometown newspaper did like an article on me because of that, which was really funny. I was like, you know, you heard it here from the Fargo Forum. Like, Drake got to talk to Luke Skywalker. It's like, yeah,
hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, it was like, you know, like for all the people that care about that, you know, and I'm very fortunate. There's a lot of people that are in my corner back in Fargo, but it's really funny. To like, I don't know, there was a weird like disconnect having them report on that like, so far away.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's so cool. All right, I know I got to get you out of here. I do want to ask you one thing if you're down for it.
Of course.
I know you do a couple of impressions.
No, okay. Okay.
Do you have, if you could share?
What do you want?
Whatever. Honestly, surprise. But because I've heard some of your impressions, I'm like, this is actually incredible, and we need to get this on footage because it's just insane. Do it, everyone that you're like comfortable with, and if
do a few like short.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
I can't promise they're gonna be awesome, and I'm really sorry. I'm probably gonna peek the mic. So I'm gonna move it away for a second.
Wait, take his camera. We need all the focus on him.
This is Austin Powers. Yeah, baby, yeah. Let me ask you a question and be honest. Do I make you horny, baby? Do I make you randy? Yeah. So that's Austin Powers. And then I do a few different Obi-Wan Kenobis. So I do.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I do Ewan McGregor, James Arnold Taylor, and Sir Alec Guinness. So Ewan McGregor is like, well, one thing's for sure, the negotiations were short. And it's like, Anakin, you can't. Padme is you're going to. It's weird. It's a sort of. There's more of a softness to it. Ewan McGregor, being from Scotland, I think, has just more of a soft timbre to his tone. That's really I'm just doing a Scottish or a British accent at this point. But if I was like, yeah, like the. I'm gonna start over, and we're gonna pretend like I didn't do any of that.
Perfect.
Like,
yeah, we cut it. We cut that. Yeah.
Ewan McGregor is like, one thing's for sure, the negotiations were short. Anakin, you know, I can't believe you've done this. You know, like that kind of. And then James Arnold Taylor is more like the Clone Wars have taken their toll on the Jedi Order. Padawans with your capabilities are desperately needed if the Republic is to endure these trying times. And that's James Arnold Taylor just has a more like resonant voice, I think, than Ewan McGregor. And then, oh God, use the Force, Luke.
No, honestly, that was enough. I knew exactly.
That's your feeling, you know. Like it's like Sir Alec Guinness is like, very soft spoken, and wise and stuff. I do a Hayden Christensen. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. God, do I do any others? I don't know. Basically, any Star Wars character.
Qui-Gon?
Do I do a Qui-Gon? I need a quote. Hold on. Racking my brain for. I can do a Count Dooku. God, twice the pride, double the fall. Like a
Watto.
That's pretty good.
Annie, it is you. What else? yeah, Qui-Gon is Liam Neeson has I can't think of a Qui-Gon quote. Why can't I think of a Qui-Gon quote?
I'm blanking on one too.
Anakin,
drop.
Wait.
Anakin. He's like,
I
I
will.
can't
I will
think of it.
just go to his other movies. I will find you, and
I
I'll
will
kill
find you, and I will kill you. I don't know. Give me a Star Wars character. I can do Star Wars impressions. That's it. That's pretty much it.
Think of another Qui-Gon line.
I cannot for the life of.
Hold
I
up,
will
Mike. Go back to
immediate-
split screen, and then look up a Qui-Gon quote.
I will immediately after this too. I can kind of do a Luke. It depends. There's Uncle Owen, I was going to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
Oh yeah, I see it.
And the greetings, exalted one.
Yeah.
You know,
Those are just
These two
Battlefront 2.
droids.
No, those are just Battlefront 2 quotes that you can
yeah, exactly.
Emotes.
I'm just doing that. God, I wish I was like locking in. If you give me quotes, I could
The
do
ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
that. The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
There's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish. That's,
Whenever you gamble, my friend, you'll lose.
what's give me some other characters. I'll do
I mean, you got a Yoda.
no. I can.
Oh,
I
that's
could
it.
try,
Okay.
could
I was just
try.
curious. I was like,
I do
I
that.
feel like that's one that everyone tries at some
You
point.
know, I'm not Frank Oz, but like.
What about Darth Maul? He has like what, 4 lines.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
That's pretty good. Hold up. Did you watch the new Darth Maul series?
I did.
Is it good?
I think so.
I haven't watched it. I was
It's
just
good.
curious.
It's short. I'm just like, damn. I kind of wish there was more.
It's an animated series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The animated series is hard. I can't do. Matt Lantner plays Anakin Skywalker in the Anakin series. I can't do his Anakin. He's got a very specific one.
Gotcha.
There's a monologue. So back in 2010, there was a game that came out called Clone Wars Adventures, and it was a tie-in to the TV series. And there's an opening monologue that features a bunch of different people from the Clone Wars. And I have that down because I was a developer for the emulator for that project.
Oh, sick.
So I like had I worked with all of those sound files like a lot. So that monologue starts with the guy Tom Kane did the initial thing. Is as the Clone Wars rage on across the galaxy, a group of the Republic's greatest heroes gather to meet a new and promising member of the Jedi Order. And then Yoda's, greetings, young one. Been waiting for you, we have. The Clone Wars have taken their toll on the Jedi Order. Padawans with your capabilities are desperately needed if the Republic is to endure these trying times. Someone with your force potential can be a great asset in bringing this war to an end. There is little time to waste. They didn't get Samuel L. Jackson to do Mace Windu in the game or in the TV series. There's little time to wait. And then this is Plo Koon. The Separatists have engaged us across numerous fronts. There's always a new challenge. This is Anakin. Whether it's flying escort for a blockade run or setting up the ground defenses to hold back a Separatist invasion, you have the potential to do it all. Now is your moment. Show the galaxy what you can do. It is time for you to take up command and help us turn the tide. The Republic will reward you with credits for helping the war effort. You can spend those credits to purchase new weapons and gear. To see what's available for purchase, click on the My Gear button in your game slot. We've also taken the liberty of setting you up with a place to stay here in the temple. Feel free to move in any personal belongings when you have the chance. You can access your house from the My House button in your game dock. And it goes on. But
That's so great. Thank you so much for enlightening me on that one, indulging me.
thanks for indulging me, letting me do it.
Well, Drake, thanks so much for coming on the show. We could take camera too. If you made it this far in the episode, consider dropping a like, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate every one of you who makes it this far into every episode. Mike, thanks for always coming in clutch and helping me out with this show. Could not do it without you. And thanks for joining us as you go and venture in your next chapter of your life.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I had a blast. This is awesome.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you next week. Peace.